Okay, so good evening to everyone. Thank you for joining the show this evening. We're in for a real treat. This is another episode of W.A.G.E, and tonight we're going to be reporting live, streaming from YouTube, where we're going to be talking about the most recent elections here in the city of Newark. And the show tonight is actually entitled Complicated Landscape of Newark Political Elections and How Do We Go About Resuscitating our democracy here in the city of Newark. I'm your host, Sheila Montague, and we have three extraordinary co-hosts, and you'll be meeting them soon. And so until then, let's get ready to start our show.
10, 9, 8, 7, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Like this, baby, you a heart stopper.
Woke up in my city, yeah, I feel like Big Papa. I feel like Big Papa.
Nah, you gotta go like this, and like this, baby, you a heart stopper.
Woke up in my city.
Okay, so welcome back. And we're going to start by introducing our fantastic co-hosts that we have with us this evening. So we're going to first introduce AKAN. He's joining us from Virginia.
Hey, how you doing, sis? How you feeling tonight?
Oh,
Peace and power.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining the show this evening. We're going to have a very robust discussion. Thank you for being here. The next co-host,
yes, it's a pleasure.
Awesome. The next co-host we have is JODY PITTMAN. JODY PITTMAN is joining us all the way from no. Am I right? Virginia? No.
North Carolina.
Okay, so we got Virginia, we got North
Carolina.
I'm in
North Carolina.
Okay, awesome. And these are all native Newarkers, right? And so they're with us tonight. And JODY, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. And last but certainly not least, we have JAMAL Fox joining us from right here in Brick City. JAMAL, thank you for joining us.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. So we're not going to waste any time because I don't like to waste time. We're going to get right into the topic discussion. We're going to be talking about this evening the very complicated landscape of Newark political elections and how we resuscitate democracy. And the reason why the solution is important, because I think that many people haven't even identified that there's an actual problem. And the reason why I can safely assume that is because people have been voting the same people in for office for years now. And I think the term limits are needed. And unless we get that, I'm not sure we're going to have democracy. But just, to that, any of you can start. And I just saw ladies first with JODY. What do you think about the last elections? I know that you guys probably saw something, if not all. What's your opinion? And, we'll just go from there.
So I think what this election showed everyone from the mayoral through the council is that there is a problem of voter suppression in the city, that when you have 248,000 registered voters and the mayor can't crack 10% of that vote, that says that the mayor isn't leading a city, right? He's leading his people, right? He ain't leading the people, he leading his people. And even that number shrinks every 4 years. It says that I say this with no glee or joy in my heart, but the people of Newark are broken. And obviously they are so broken that they won't walk out of their doors to fix their circumstance to get to a poll to vote this mayor and that council out. So it's kind of sad to have watched, right? But I think it's a lot of, I don't think the mayor wants the city to come out to vote, right? He wouldn't be the mayor if 35% of the people in the city came out to vote, as opposed to the 7% that came out to vote, he wouldn't be the mayor.
Right.
So
Right.
voter suppression is real in that city.
Good thoughts. Good thoughts there. Anybody want to just jump in with your next?
What else can you say? She said it all. It's very simple. You can, if you were participating, you can see it clearly that the voter suppression was there. You know, they had machines, I believe it was in a Speedway before schedule, unattended. It was just
Right.
it was just sheer blatant. It was blatant. Like
Right.
it couldn't be any more blatant that they were involved in voter suppression. They didn't let anyone go around to the senior buildings and talk to the elders, but they were able to go talk to the elders. There were no debates. When do you have a mayor election and you don't have a debate?
Right.
When do you have a mayor election but your mayor isn't accessible? But he can throw concerts downtown Newark in the middle of COVID, as he said, not my words, these are his. In the middle of COVID, no mask on, doing pull-ups with Jadakiss. You can throw parties and events, but the kids down in Grafton Avenue couldn't come outside.
My Lord, my
You
Lord.
understand?
That's right.
So where's the accountability?
Right.
Like the rules are in place for everyone, not just some of us.
Right.
And with this election, you saw, or I saw, just that the rules did not apply to them.
Right. Right. Absolutely. And it's not just about the rules. In many instances, we're talking about actual laws, the Hatch Act, right? Whereas they hung signs up illegally on street poles and signs that street poles that they're not supposed to do that, and they know that. But yeah, for sure, lots of illegal activities went on during this election, and it doesn't seem like there were any repercussions at all. No matter how many people reached out to other government officials, nothing happened. Rob, what do you think about the elections here?
Well, the voter suppression is happening all around this country right now.
Right.
There was a race down there in South Carolina between James Clyburn and Marcel Dixon. The same thing, the voter suppression. They said that Marcel Dixon campaign team, they was going around trying to, get people to vote for Marcel Dixon. They said that James Clyburn had people out and didn't allow them to be in public events, at places where there was people in abundance. They was telling them they need to be 200 feet away from the event. Then it goes from 200 feet to 500 feet. So these are the tactics that's being played, by the current administrations all around this country right now that's in office that want to reelect their puppets. And they're using tactics to, any tactics they can use by not allowing people to be able to, advocate or promote for any candidates that's running against, their current politician that's in office. And this is going on everywhere. It's happening in Newark. It's happening in South Carolina. It's happening in places like ATL. It's happening in places like Chicago, like the aldermen that the people want to vote in. Anybody that's grassroots that want to do, the demand or want to speak for the needs and the demands of the grassroots people, the people that don't have a voice, they trying to block. So this is something that's serious because it's a collective effort going on, to keep people that can make a difference out of office.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think one issue that exists is that the people in general, even around the nation, don't really understand civics and their civic duty. And if you compile that with a sense of hopelessness, you got a recipe, for a political disaster there. What do you guys think politically in terms of leadership and like this dynasty that we have going on in Newark, and do you think that that impacts people in a positive way or a negative way? And we'll go backwards with that. We'll go to AKAN, and then we'll go to Jamal, and then to Jody.
I think that the thing is that the way that the system is set up, this dynasty has not overall helped us. You can look at, these legacy wins. A lot of these politicians that might be in office because they had a father or maybe a mother, before them. It's almost like they inherit the seat instead of really having the credentials or, the skill set to really be in office and make Newark, and balance Newark and make Newark functional. You understand? So this has been going on for a lot of years, and it's almost like it's like an oligarchy where you have the elites that handpick or they appoint people in office. Because the problem with us as a people is the fact that we are not politically savvy. We don't understand political science. I was taught that you don't elect in, a politician. You buy yourself a politician. But these are, the secrets that we don't know as a group. Wow. You understand? The issue is that we don't have no economic base or economic machine to push a politician that we want in office. You know what I'm saying? Contrast to the other, coaches that might have an economic base or economic hub that is the machine now fuel a campaign and finance a campaign for somebody that they want in office that's going to do the bidding for their community. You understand? So, so when it comes to political science, we're not savvy in that area, but we can learn. We can learn, you know what I'm saying? Because these are things that's not taught for us because we have been taught to act like we're voting, in our favor of voting, you know what I'm saying, in the favor of our people, but really a lot of times we're voting for somebody else's agenda. We're voting for another culture, because if you go back to slavery, you know what I'm saying, we was only brought here to assist and grow other people's generational wealth. They have revised that system. Now, you know what I'm saying, we think we're voting, you know what I'm saying, for a black agenda, but, you know what I mean, subliminally, we're voting for somebody else's agenda. They're going to always do the bidding for those, you know what I'm saying, that has an economic base in their in their community. You know what I'm saying? It's all about the dollars, all about the, you know what I'm saying, the finances that can, fuel somebody's campaign. And like I said, the ones that put that super PAC together to push that campaign forward, if that politician get in the office, then they're most likely going to do the bidding for that community.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Jamal? Oh, Jamal, unmute your mic, maybe.
The brother's right. He's 100% on point, and he's right. You've heard me say on numerous occasions that they use their power while they're in office to stay in office. You understand?
Right.
Limit terms can be great, and they can be bad at the same time.
That's right.
So you figure. Say you have a politician in office, and this politician is actually doing the beckon of the people. This politician is actually doing what the people has asked this politician to do. You see the growth. You see all the citizens in the city are being treated fairly and the same. And there's growth in the city, and you can see each ethnic group in the city grow.
That's right.
Now, that politician, you wouldn't mind if that politician was there for 10, 15, 20 years. You wouldn't mind it because everyone is prospering under said politician. But,
that's right.
But then you got a guy like you got the guy in there right now.
Right.
The only people that are prospering, like Jody said, is his people.
That's right.
The average citizen has no equity in Newark right now.
Yeah.
Even the homeowners, they have no equity in Newark right about now.
That's right.
So at what point does the people step up and say, hey, enough is enough?
Yeah. Do you think people feel that they can do that without having equity? Because even if they don't understand complete politics, they definitely get that we're not strong enough to do anything, or maybe we are. I don't know. I don't know. You know, it's a question to put out
Well,
there. Jody, what do you?
So we are, right, because that's how he got there, right? He ran against the establishment. He riled up a core group of people, and they pushed him through, right? And so I'm not going to give it the characteristic of a dynasty because it is trash, right? And I'm going to speak frankly, because that's what it is. Moreover, the brother Rock's point of us not being politically savvy is the reason why he's been able to maintain, right? Because for some reason black folk they vote for someone, where our counterparts, they don't vote for something, they vote against something, right?
Right.
And if black folk in Newark were that savvy, we would be talking to Sheila Montague right now, right? Because
That's right.
it wouldn't have been personal with it wouldn't have been, we don't know her for some, right? It would have been, that's my target, and I'm voting against that. Whoever's on the ballot, right? We need to get, because the problem with Newark isn't Newark, it's the administration, right? So everyone has to know. Listen, if 12 years ago, before he became mayor and you became mayor, whatever, your situation is different, then you're supposed to vote against that, right? And I been there for 4 years. That ain't nobody's, not the people. I'm not talking about the players. The people's situation hasn't changed, and if it has, it's only gotten worse. And I won't throw numbers out, right? But that's crime, dirty water, corruption, right? All of that says that your situation is bleak at its least, right? So as a voting body, we have to become more savvy in the sense of it's not about who that person is, it's about my target, and I'm going to vote against something. Because so that's one thing I wanted to say. The other thing is we really do have to stop acting, speaking, manifesting his power, because he's not powerful, right? This is a mayor of a city with 148,000 people, and since he was elected into office, hasn't been able to get 10% of those people to come out and vote for him. He is basically holding on to all there is for him. He can't run for governor, and you can't get over 13,000 people in Newark to run for you, and you expect the state of New Jersey, they're not even going to let him run. If it does, it is their way of his demise. And they'll demise, right? When they get ready to tear him down, they might say, yeah, go run for governor. But because in politics, right, the Democratic Party say to him, you don't carry a strong enough base to run for governor in this state. If you can't get 50,000 people to vote for you in the city you were born and raised in, high exalted mystic ruler, Umgawa, black power person, if you can't get that body, New Jersey ain't gonna run you for mayor. But he's been allowed to rule because the people are broken. The people, and like you said, aren't civically savvy enough to know that it'll be okay. And the real creeps, I was trying to think of an intellectual word for creeps, child. The real creeps are those who surround him.
We talk. We shoot straight on this show. So whatever you feel, you know.
Yeah, the creeps are the people who surround him or the ones that stay silent, right? So Shavar Jeffries should have never been silent. You know who that is, right? It is people like that, or former council people, or Mayor Sharp James, who sometimes acts like he gonna get involved and then sit back in the cut and watch the shit show for his people. Those people need to be taken down and not considered leaders anymore. They are not leaders because they aren't leading the people, right?
Yeah.
So that's it. That's it. I got so much to say, but
no, great stuff. Listening, I'm gonna let you guys say it. Jamal, what do you think? I see he's about to burst. So, but Jamal, what do you think? You want to get some feedback off that?
First, I got to stop laughing. Because
we just warming up, Jamal.
Because you have to understand, we're not the only ones that see what she sees.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? We're not the only people that see that, and the problem is, and I agree and I disagree as far as the people in North being savvy enough to vote and understand political science. I agree, some of them are, but the ones that do understand, they're at the point to where as if they're like, nothing changes, so why am I gonna take off work and waste my time and go vote and nothing's gonna change?
wow.
That's what a lot of them feel.
Yeah.
You know, and I gotta say it, a lot of people are like me. They don't believe voting works for black people in America.
Yeah.
I'm for, you already know what I'm for. I'm for taking our money, putting it together, building our own. Just like what I said it time and time again. We might have a little bit of money as individuals, but when it comes to having money as an ethnic group, we have no equity.
Jamal, I have a question on that. When you talk about, and I hear you talk often and in detail about your plan to grow our own, and you know, I was having this conversation with Ra, and what we're trying to figure out is what is that factor that will make people jump on a pyramid scheme, but they're slow to act in terms of what it is that you're presenting, like, which is really sound. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Immediate gratification.
Yeah.
That's it. A pyramid scheme is pretty much immediate gratification. They're gonna get something back very soon.
Yeah.
With what we're doing with the $1 a week donation, with the people helping people, it's something that they don't believe that can happen because they can't visualize it. I learned a long time ago, people will judge you by what they can't do. If they can't do it, you can't do it. You understand? Right. And some people, and you've heard me say how a lot of black folk in this country and abroad, they just suffer from Stockholm and Willie Lynch syndrome. Yeah. They're not gonna get up and do anything about it because they're afraid that Master gonna come down with his mighty hand and he gonna strike it down.
Oh yeah.
No, stop it. That's These people are gonna do what they're gonna do regardless. So we have to do what we must. And a lot of us, we will say, "Oh man, well, who gonna control the money?" Pardon my language, motherfucker, me. It's my brainchild. It's my brainchild. I'm not gonna put it in your hands to derail it.
Yeah.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
I keep telling you, if you want a community to be successful, you need a bank, a hospital, a supermarket, and schools.
That's right.
That's right.
Point for point.
We don't have that. Realistically, the entities are there in Newark, but we don't have it.
And Jamal, to that point, that is exactly what we were talking about on this show, self-governance, when we saw that it was very clear that these elections were not working for us. We went into self-governance. We had people on the show talk to that the night that we were going to do it, and we posted it. I was blocked from going live on Facebook ever since then, and I'm still blocked from going live, which is why we're on YouTube right now, because they know that that limits the audience, right? But who is it that doesn't want us to talk about those things? So then we have to analyze, like, is the media involved with the politics and what's going on? So anybody jump in?
Yes. Yes. You have to understand, they control the media. They control all aspects of the media. They control the newspaper. They control the TV. They control the radio. How is it you have a mayor election going on in Newark and Irvington, but the runners, the candidates that are running aren't allowed media access, but the current city mayors have all the media access in the world?
No.
How is that even possible?
Right. No.
Because they control it. You understand? They tell you, oh, listen, if you don't do A, B, and C, we're not going to give you access no more.
Right. That's very powerful. That's a powerful instrument. You know, somebody called me the first night that a media article went out about me, and I will never forget. And this was after I made the ballot, because there was a lot of work. I mean, a lot of hard paints.
Yes, it was.
And they refused to name me even second. Okay, the mayor is definitely the incumbent. Okay, so I could get why they named him first. But they even named a community activist before they said my name. And I knew from right there that it was going to be slanted in terms of how the media presented me in this election. And it's deep on a lot of levels, because it's not just that I'm a woman, right? It's that I'm a woman of color. I'm not a woman connected to the dynasty that has, you know, evolved here in the city of Newark in terms of municipal leadership. And I'm somebody who lives on 13th Street. But I have a great...
Please call it a dynasty. Please call it a trash truck.
Okay, the trash. Okay,
you can call it the trash dynasty.
Yeah.
So, you know, but
like that.
You wonder, like, what role, and it took me back, I'm gonna let you guys speak on this. It took me back to when Trump used to say, what was it? Fake news. And I remember initially thinking, fake news. I'm like, why is it fake? Because they're not telling the truth about you. But as I started to look, I said, okay, why is the news being biased? I always thought the news was biased. I always thought that. I just thought the news reported on the news, you know, neutrality ruled the day. But I found that that wasn't it. And I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Just the media, the part
Well,
that they
remember,
play.
first of all, so we don't have the news anymore, right? There's shows, right? MSNBC is a reel of show after show after show. And it is obvious that MSNBC is promoting for the Democratic Party, like Fox 5 promotes for the Republican Party. But they are not. That is not news we're seeing. We're seeing a show that is scripted, that is
that's right.
That is funneling information for a purpose per day, right? So and unfortunately, what we watched when we were kids, right? Bill Butel, those people, it's some that they were journalists. So they were reporting a story. They weren't promoting a faction, right? But a show, a news show on MSNBC is aligned with the Democratic Party. They're able to talk to them and get stories up front and put out whatever narrative or messaging is that the party needs at that time, right? But in the inner cities, so I was telling Sheila that I got sick last week or the week before, and so I was stuck in the bed, and I started watching The Chi, and it was weird. I set up when I realized what it was. I'm like, wait a minute, that's Raz Baraka, right? A mayor on television, primetime television, who's affiliated with the gang, in the gang, runs for office, elects him into office, kind of like that. When I become mayor, you gonna become mayor too,
Right.
and go straight in with
Yeah.
corruption and dastardly deeds. What it let me know was, well, hell, once it makes it to television, it ain't just Raz. Damn. That
Right.
show, what it let me know was, all across this country, in urban cities, where black men reign. Sorry, guys, love you too, but this is just where we are.
Yes. Yes.
And are in power, right? That they are raping their city, they are corrupt, without moral fiber, without ethical standards, and they are actually, right? We talk about Trump if we want to. You gonna tell me that Trump has done anything remotely close bad to the black people in Newark than Mayor Raz Baraka? Trump ain't got
No.
shit on Raz Baraka.
Yeah.
Nothing. And that is just as honest as it can be said, right? Very often we like as black people to say the white man is our enemy. But in this juncture, let's say from 80 to now, has it been the white man? It really
It's been a combination of both.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
it's been
it's very rare though, right? That national politics reaches my home, right? So much of what they do on the national level really doesn't affect or effectuate change in my home. But local politics, right, is so important to the people. And you have a black man in a city, Umgawa Black Power he was. I will never capitulate, he said in a video. I will never capitulate. And he walked through the door in capitulation form. He walked right through the door and handed it over. Remember, he didn't need the establishment. He had beat the establishment just off of the
grassroots.
Yeah, like and just off of that vibe of him beating the establishment, he could have made Newark a black epicenter of goodness, right?
Yes.
He walked in the door wanting to be capitulated. He wanted in. He was talking to black people like he was gonna save them. That was all a hustle. He always wanted in. They weren't accepting him. Remember, they didn't, even black leaders for a while didn't want him to run. He was too out there. He was too verbal. He was too aggressive. Sharp James was like, I don't think he's ready for it, right? They did not want him. And that has been the driving force of that mayor from day one, that the North Ward boys definitely don't want me. My black people are saying I'm even too, right? He had no intentions of making nobody fucking mayor but Raz Baraka. He had never intentions of making Newark mayor. That's just not true. He wanted in. He wanted the briefcase that they never would give to him. He never got a briefcase. They never paid him 15 cents for anything he ever did. He was a desperate dude who wanted in, and he got in. And as soon as he walked through the door, it was the greatest capitulation I've ever seen. And so now Newark is reeling off of that. And if they don't hurry up, what will there be for Newark? If he gets this if he doesn't take this, but he won't. I was going to say take this as a learning lesson and change his life, but he won't, because once you're there, once you rape the village, you're just a rapist. That's what you do. But if they don't hurry up and change something, there won't be much left that is good for the people. I don't think, anyway.
Anybody else?
You know, when you look at the history of the black elites, like Sister Jody was saying, she says from the 80s till now, it like and Brother Jamal said, is a mixture of white and black, that is working together, conspiring against the black community. The Boule has
Yes.
always been a problem in this country against black people going back to the 1700s. People don't know because we always been taught we've been in slavery, but you had Boule back then, okay, that was conspiring to keep us as an underclass like they're doing today. So this is something that we never really looked at because we've been looking at the white man for so long. We're not checking who's in our
Absolutely.
backyard that don't have our best interests at heart. That has always helped to suppress us and keep us as an underclass. When you look at the history of the Boule, they have always been the gatekeepers of the black community. They're going to always, and the white man know that they can use them as operatives against us.
Mm.
They got them.
Yes.
They
Yes.
got them in the political sector. They got them in the religious sector. You know what I'm saying? They got them in the school sector. You have to look at the language that's being used that goes against us. When you hear terms like people of color and vague terms like that, that's not really specifically talking about black people as a group. You're using vague terms like that. You're using broad terms. So when you look at these political leaders, they already been vetted before they even put them in office. They're not
Ooh.
going to put anybody in office that's not going to overall do the bidding for the elite, mainly white elite. But they're trying to make sure that their interest is protected too. As the black elite is making sure that their interest is protected, and they'll do anything if they have to keep us as an underclass and keep us suppressed as underclass. So the
Yeah.
Boule, we always, like I said, because we want to believe that black people is together in unity. You know what I'm saying? That's our passion. That one we could come together. But the black elite has always been the enemies of the black community all the way back to the 1700s. So this ain't nothing new. We've been looking in the wrong direction. Before we can move forward, we're gonna have to get on code with each other and start cleaning our own backyard out. And it starts with the Boule or
And
the
I'm
black elites or whatever we want to call them. That's in a political base, in our cities that's doing the bidding for these corporate investors in the oligarchy that's ruling over these cities, trying to replace us, urban removal, trying to displace us. You know what I'm saying? And trying to use they have weaponized gentrification. That's why when you hear urban renewal, that's really a form of gentrification to remove us out of the city. They're flushing us out. And if you look at Essex County, you look at the oranges and stuff, they're starting to gentrify the oranges too, to surround the cities around Newark. So you don't even have that as an option to move in those cities because they're going to be gentrified too. They're trying to flush black people out the county as a whole.
right.
If you don't have the money for the change, it's going to be a problem moving forward for us.
Yeah.
So, but like I said, the black elites has always been opposition, against the black community.
I'm going to be honest, I wasn't totally aware of that to that extent until this mayoral election that I just had. And when I saw how, and I'm going to be honest, I was a little bit taken aback by almost each and every organization in the entire community was just either silent, not saying anything, or they wasn't just, and again, if you just take Sheila Montague out of it, I'm an educator in the community, right? Lifelong educator that's running for office. How do you shun that? Like, I have no dirty past, and sometimes I think that was a part of the problem. But but it was just like, wow, like with the organizations, and I'm not gonna name them now because I don't remember an organization stepping up to be supportive at all. And especially in light of, you got to think about at the time of this election, we were talking about vaccines for 5-year-olds. We were talking about people losing their houses exponentially. We're talking about homeless people just filling up Penn Station, and they're just moving them and bringing in cranes to crash their little tents and things down, which is another thing that's on that show that you were talking about, Jody. So I'm gonna be honest. I'm shocked, but I'm faced with the fact that there is a very, very powerful and collective elite that is definitely working against the progression of all people. I'm not sure why that is. So if anybody else wants to, give
Well,
their
They do that because they need us on hand and knee. They need us on our knees due to the simple fact that they need to be in control of everything because they are so afraid. They've done so much dirt that
That's
they
right.
are afraid that we are going to do the same thing to them that they've been doing to us. So in order for them for their nightmare not to come true, because that's all it is. It's a reoccurring nightmare because of the evil that they've done. You understand?
Right.
So they feel as if they have to keep us down so that we don't rise up and do to them what they did to us. And it's just that simple. You know, people would like to make it hard. They would like to make it difficult. They would like to even make it mystical and say, oh, no, it's not that simple. Let me tell you, once you get through all the red tape, all the confusion, at the base of it, it's always that simple. It's about fear. It's about money. It's about thinking that I'm better than you. At the end of the day, these European Americans, and not all of them, but these European Americans, they don't want to acknowledge us at all. They want us back in chains saying yes, master, and doing their laundry again and raising their kids. You understand? This is what European Americans want.
That's right.
So at the end of the day, it's very simple, but people will always complicate it. And remember, me and you had this conversation, and I told you, I said, listen, in order to win, you're going to have to roll with gangsters because that's what they have around them.
Yeah.
That's right.
You know, at one point I told the police when I came past, I said, hey, you guys see those signs on the poles? They're not supposed to be there. What are you going to do? He was like, you got to bring people out here to do the same thing. The police said that. So the police, the suggestion was, you should break the law too.
Right.
So there's an erosion, right, of the very laws. And like, you got to understand that laws allegedly, right, they're supposed to keep civility in place. So basically, you're telling me to be uncivil here. Basically, you're telling me that the laws that are in place, whereas that's not supposed to happen, nothing's going to happen. And what does this say to a society, right, that is morally based, that is trying to do right instead of wrong? It teaches them, even by the overwhelming people who they hire in City Hall, that, like, I mean, you got to be blind to not see that most of the people have to have a felony or a criminal background, right, to be considered. And so once they do, what does that say? And don't get me wrong, I'm all for giving people second chances. I'm all for that, totally. But what does that say about the people who didn't get the first chance at doing things the way that they think that they should be done? You know, has there been a paradigm shift, if you will, in society where doing right is, you know, bad and doing bad is right? I don't know what you guys think about that.
I think, you know, it's not about moral compass when you're talking about, you know, when you talk about these politics. You know what I mean? It's not about right and wrong with them. It's about reaching their objective or whatever the agenda is in place. You know, we looked at it with Obama because, you know, his first term, the first 4 years, we're like, okay, they don't allow him to do nothing. Okay, the second term, you know, he's going to do something for us. And then the second term, he didn't do nothing for us. He didn't do anything that made a difference, you know, for the black community as a whole. You know, and then before he leaves office, he signed in that blue law, you know what I'm saying, to give more, you know, autonomy and authoritative power to law enforcement. And by the time that we're getting gunned down and unjustly murdered by the police force, you know, so I don't know. You know, when it comes to, you know, the moral code, yes, us as, you know, regular people, yeah, we look at it from you know, we look at it from a perspective of, well, you know what I'm saying, if it's morally wrong, I don't want to support it. But we don't know when you get into politics or you get into political office, you know what I mean? And then the ones that finance your campaign got this ugly face. So, and then you find out the hard way that it's not about a moral code, it's about an agenda, and you pushing that agenda forward, regardless if you like it or not, you no longer in control.
Right. Right. Absolutely.
Truth.
We had over 400 cops to walk out, veteran officers. So now we have a lot of, which is good that we have police from Newark, but we have a lot of really young people who mostly went to the school that he used to work at, right? that is policing the community. So I don't know. Yeah. So like a lot of this stuff doesn't even touch the arena of any kind of morality, if you will. And so with that being said, I want to go to the people here, because enough about him, because he's not devoted. People here who vote. So we have people who complain. And I heard Jamal say something that really registered the other evening. Jamal said on one of his lives, he said, all of these, he said, my candidates that I support in Newark and Irvington, he said, they're all doing good. Like, he said, but the people who didn't support them, they're complaining still. He said, I don't understand that, or something to that effect. Jamal,
Yeah, no, that is exactly what I said.
Yeah.
I told them that you had credible candidates for Irvington and Newark.
Right.
You had an opportunity to come out and replace the current regime. And it didn't happen. But these same people are still complaining about the current administration. Like,
you can't make it up.
No, you can't make this up. Mom, this is my thing, right? When I complain about something, I have a solution for that complaint.
Right.
Like, if you're not looking for a solution, don't talk to me. If you just want me to sit there, be quiet, and listen, that's not gonna happen. It's just not gonna happen. It's not me. If you're complaining, I have a solution.
That's how I am too.
Yeah, I have a solution. Everybody was talking about, oh, but you gotta understand, like, yo, if you don't do this, do that, they're gonna do this to you. Dude, that's just the mayor. You don't work for him. He works for you. Why can't you understand that?
They don't. And
why can't you understand at any given moment, if you're displeased with their behavior, if you're displeased with their performance, you can remove them from office. But people are so afraid. Oh no, he's doing a good job. Oh, I like him. Well, I don't know much about him, but I think he's handsome. Say what? And the worst part about it are the men. Yeah, man, I'm just saying. Yo, he got that power, man. You gotta respect that. I ain't gotta respect the damn thing. I don't respect cowards. Yeah. I don't. You a coward. I don't respect you.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
I respect you being scared. You understand? I respect you being scared and still do what you have to do, even though you know you might not win. But what I don't respect is the coward that won't even attempt to stand up.
Yeah.
And that's what we got going on. You know, people tell me all the time, oh, well, what you doing? Dude, I've been helping people for decades.
Yeah.
I've been helping people for decades. What are you talking about? I just don't publicize it. Yeah, look, man, I just fed these people over here.
Yeah.
I don't do that.
Yeah.
If I'm helping you in your time of need, it's a private moment.
Right.
That's right.
So we're going to keep it private.
Yeah, I always say,
right.
You got to give me food and I fall off. Don't take a picture of that and put that on social media.
Media.
You know?
Right. We're gonna keep it a private moment. Right. So the people have to understand. Me personally, stop trying to appeal to these politicians. They are civil servants. They are not they are not celebrities. They are civil servants. They are there to do a job for the people, along with law enforcement, the court systems, and everybody else.
But you know what's funny? When you don't know civics, right? You think that the celebrities are the voice, right, of
Yeah.
crimes. And again, this is media induced, right? Something happens, they want to go ask Lil Wayne, what do you think about this political issue? And it's like, wait, why are you asking them? Because again, the media is poor representation.
And some of it, I think we're being a little nice too, because some of them, let's say,
Well, Jody,
top
I've
of my head,
been
Donna
working on
Jackson,
not using
right?
profanity.
I'm trying, right? But this might go left right here.
No,
So
they have
Donna Jackson, right? So a couple of days after the election, I'm scrolling through social media, and there's Donna and her wingman saying Cassandra, and sitting on the corner because two babies were shot, and she starts she starts screaming at the camera, "I hate you, Raz." I like kept rewinding it over and over. I wanted to see it over. And my issue was 2 days ago, you weirdo, you could have got rid of him. And then it hit me. They like that, right?
Yeah.
If they elected Sheila in the office, then what corner would they have to stand on and scream at the scammer, right? Like they wouldn't have to say, "Oh, I hate you, Raz, and you did it again, Raz." In some ways, I believe that they held the line. Donna Jackson, let's say, and I'm just gonna keep to her because she was the worst. You held the line against voting for this person so that you could continue to stand on the street corner and scream at the other one. That makes no sense to me. So it has to be about you're eating that. You're eating some way, because unless Donna has learned something that the rest of us in this country don't know, I've never been able to not work for all my life and keep a car, an apartment, a place to live, and feed my children, right? So why are you keeping him there and playing the other side? Because very often, and people better get to know, I don't want to hear anymore that Donna Jackson is for the people or an advocate for the people, because you couldn't be if you keep allowing the poisoner of the children with water, the most corrupt administration in the history we've seen in Newark. My God, the air atrocities, the education atrocities. You can't keep that in office and keep calling yourself an activist, right? Maybe that's why only 10 people show up to her rallies. Because somebody has had to understand that you are working against the people. You have to be. So some of it, I believe, is a strategy all in itself. And I'm not backing from that because she's gone through way too many administrations. She's mad at everybody. She was mad at Corey. She was mad at Sharp. She mad at Raz, but all of them was paying her. Right?
What?
So
Say that again?
One that I can't prove he paid her.
Oh,
But
yeah.
how are you moving, right? And to get him there, right? You're on social media talking about another woman. Don't vote her into office. Couldn't say nothing like Sheila said. There's nothing in Sheila's jacket that says she wouldn't have made the perfect mayor, right? It was time. It is so time for a woman to have that space or be given that opportunity. And I speak as a woman, wholly first. But at the end of the day, it was time for him to leave, right? He had his 2 terms. It was time for him to leave. So that game that she played, I realized that is a game to her. It's not funny though. It's not a good game. It's destroying the city. But as long as Sean Cassandra can stand on the corner and scream at the video, I guess that's enough.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
I guess that's enough.
Wow. And so then it turns into, like I said, so it's about the candidates, right? So who don't, because I don't know if any other candidate got the heat that I got from the women. And I'm gonna be honest, that was kind of shocking. Like on the street, grassroots, a lot of women were rooting for me. A lot of women, I got a lot of support, a lot of encouragement. But for whatever reason on social media, it was like those women, and ironically, I had one woman to come forward and say she wouldn't vote for me just because I was getting a period.
Yep.
That had to be the most insane thing I ever heard. And the irony of it was that she attempted to run for office too. So it kind of showed, but the thing is, she started getting views for that. So it kind of I guess paints a picture, right? That people want to see the salaciousness, right? People want to see the negativity, but I don't know if they want to see change. We had 6. I'm just going to talk about the West Ward right now, because the West was one of the wards here in the city of Newark that 3/4 of the land was sold, and this was pre-election. So you have 6. Wow. You have 6 intelligent candidates that are running, right? 5 of them knew politics. They knew political science, right? They understood the housing markets. They understood what was going on currently with every possible situation that is of social importance to us. But and this is not to say anything negative about Do It All, because let me say this. As a person, I like him. He's a nice guy. But
he's a good dude.
But we got to put that to the side, right? Like a lot of teachers. I'm an educator.
I'm sorry.
Still, yeah,
sorry.
I'm gonna let you.
You're not a good dude. Don't do that. Right? When y'all do that, that pisses me off, right? Because he is not a good dude, right? Because if he was a good dude, he wouldn't be with bad dudes, right?
Okay,
good dudes don't hang with bad dudes.
Let me tell you.
Let me finish and say this.
Go ahead.
When I say he's a good dude, that means that my experiences with him, whenever I've seen him, and it hasn't been so much throughout life, to be honest. So when he says he's from here, I don't know. But he's never done anything wrong to me for me to say, okay, that right there. And I don't pick by personality. So what I'm saying is that the part that he said to me, and Jamal, if I'm not mistaken, you could have been there. If not, it's fine. He said, I don't know this politics stuff.
Then what were you doing? Then what
were you running?
Right? Well, listen, I am not running. I might run for president one day. I think I'm good like that. But I'm just saying, I'm not going to try, and I'm not going to open a jewelry store, because I'm not a jewelry maker, right? I don't know how to put that, right? What were you doing? You, and much like Donna Jackson, right? A community activist does not translate to politician. It just doesn't, right? Everybody plays a role in a good community that makes it work, right? There's activists, there's teachers, there's politicians, there's garbage men. Everybody has a space, right? He had no business running for councilman if you don't know how, if you have no idea of how to run a city. He's probably never seen a budget, because his was a failure, right? So it wasn't like they was making bazillions of dollars and counting up the money. That didn't happen, right? And this is nothing against him. I don't like or dislike Do It All. I feel no way about him at all. All I'm saying is good people hang with good people. Solid people hang with solid people. Everything that we know about Ras Baraka, he knows. He knows that. What made you, and listen, and because let's be frank, first you tried out for the role. So when he ran the first time, that was a tryout for Raz, because he was the only candidate that was running for what was the council at large, but never spoke about one ill in the city. How the hell do you do that? How the hell are you running against an administration and never say one thing derogatory about that administration? He never said shit. He was just running, but he was really running to say, see me, Raz? I won't say nothing bad about you, Massa. I won't disfame you, Massa. Can you choose me, Massa? And Massa chose him. And Massa said in the first article that came out, when he did his first appearance at the Senior Citizen Home on South Orange Avenue, it said, and Raz Baraka said he never talked derogatory against the administration during that election. It made me like him. Fuck, we care about who you like. A city burning. Children poisoned with dirty water. I'm going to keep saying that. And do it all. Never said one thing. He blocked me for social media because I went on his page and I'm like, damn, you can't even say that the water is poison. I was blocked. He said he was better than that. Then what the hell is he doing in a city that needs somebody a little grittier than that? Somebody willing to say, this is right, this is wrong, for the sake of those children, right? We grown people. We make decisions. We decide. We put our babies in this shit. Okay, we put our babies in this shit. Our babies are subjective to the decisions we make and the people we put in charge. That's what we did to our children. So education under the principal, vice principal, teacher Baraka ain't moved an inch. Babies still coming out of high school illiterate. But he was Mr. When I become mayor, you become mayor. He was all the babies love him. He making them cops. So all of my kids that graduated from Central High School, come on over. I'll make you cops. There was no programs to send you to college. I haven't solidified that in 9 years, right? I haven't forced the charter community to share best practices with the public school community and bring everybody up to the same, even though it's illegal to have one form of education being disseminated in this building and one form of education being disseminated in that building. That's illegal according to Abbott versus Burke, right? You can't do that. But he allowed that because remember, he was anti-charter. And then when he got in, they gave him the briefcase, and I know that for sure. And so now, forget the babies in public schools. I know that for sure. So anybody, this is how I ride, right? If you can sit in a room with him and you can call yourself a part of his team, you dirty too. All of them are dirty. Anybody who affiliates themselves with a man that would lie about dirty fucking water is dirty. I could have never done that. I could have never seen myself say, well, shit, I'm going to just stay silent because I'm a part of the Baraka team. Listen, shit comes down from the top. Yeah. So everyone in that council is dirty. The only people that I think are innocent in City Hall are those City Hall workers that are afraid to move, that are just trying to feed their families. But anybody that has authority and stands by him, they are dirty. So you can't say Do It All is a good guy. No, he ain't. He a piece of trash. He's a part of the trash dynasty. I'm done.
I get it. Sound logic. Done. Jamal, what do you think?
Period. My daughter just said to me, say period.
I think they pissed her off. That's what I think.
Yes.
And listen, I ain't been there for 4 years, so I haven't.
But in all seriousness, like I said, in all seriousness, like I said, I know Do It All. I've had experiences with him. I've seen him help people. I've also been in a room when we met with him when he stated he does not know this political thing. And I sat and I spoke with Sheila. I said, well, listen, just because I like him as a person, I still would not vote for him for the West Ward. I don't think he's a good fit. You understand? I don't think he's a good fit for West Ward.
Right.
You know, some people, oh no, you hate. No, it's not hating. I'm telling you what I know for a fact. The man said out of his mouth that he doesn't know this political stuff. You understand? He said that himself. So why would I say I think he's a good fit when he's not a good fit?
Listen,
Just
you
like
tell me in another city, in another state, in a white neighborhood where I don't know, iCarly, I don't know none of their artists, but Britney Spears, all of a sudden, she's gonna run for office and they're gonna elect her. Tell me one.
Well, Ronald Reagan ran for president, and Arnold Schwarzenegger made it the governor. Jesse the Body Ventura made it the governor. There's quite a few of them that have transcended from the entertainment business to politics. They do it all the time. That's their
artists? They got some rappers?
Listen,
y'all just made a sandwich with a rap artist in the middle and two corrupt reverends on the side.
I'm talking about entertainers. Entertainers make that transition into politics.
Okay.
Ready? You know, for lack
he was a failed entertainer too. Like, listen. I mean,
listen. Joe, listen to me. I was there. He wasn't a failed entertainer like everybody thinks he was. Okay. Listen, one thing about me, what I don't do is when I know the truth, I speak the truth.
But so let me just
you understand? When I know the truth, I speak the truth.
Right.
So one second, Sheila. As a politician, I don't believe in him as a politician. I don't. That's no secret. He knows that. But as an individual, I've seen him do good for a lot of people. I've seen it with my own eyes. And yes, good people do make bad decisions. Right now, I think he made a bad decision as far as being on board with Raz. That is probably the worst decision he has ever made in his life.
Why do you feel that's a bad decision, Jamal?
Because it's going to undo all the good that he has done. You understand? If you look at Raz, if you look at the people around Raz, everybody's going to jail. Everybody's going to jail. The feds are up in the building. They're snatching computers and they're snatching bodies. You understand? So it's just a matter of time. Yeah. Like I said, one thing I don't do, I don't put something on somebody where I know the facts. As far as him being a failed entertainer, he wasn't a failed entertainer. As far as him helping people in the community,
but that's your opinion. Because
no. Listen to me.
You're gonna run on a platform that says you're a platinum artist. You don't have an album.
But
you don't have a collection of work that I know Al Tariq that he rapped with. Al Tariq was all you have to do to be a platinum artist is be on the song or have written something. But
that's all it takes.
You know, 2 songs, and our generation don't even know that. Most of the kids voted for him based on the fact that he was on Team Baraka. Like, we're going to be honest about that point. Like,
definitely. That's why they voted for him. I'm speaking to the fact that
I got more rap songs by myself than he got.
Listen, but I'm speaking to the fact that a good person made a bad decision. That's what I'm speaking on. You understand? And birds of the feather don't always flock together. Because guess what? You can have a crew of solid dudes, right? But one of them is a rapist. But guess what? He's not going to talk about that rape around the other solid dudes.
But
so birds of the feather don't always flock together.
You make the mistake, though, right? You said you can have a group of solid dudes, and one's a rapist, but the rest don't know. He knows. You can't be in.
Trust me.
You can't even.
Let me tell you something.
Listen.
Let me tell you something.
Raz's wife was stole money, right? He knew Kabari Tucker and Raz's wife stole money, right? He had to know that. That was in the newspaper, right? He knew that the water was dirty, filthy dirty. And if he didn't know that Raz was lying about it, hell, I told him myself. He knew that, right? Come
Yeah, I
on.
want
So he
to kind
didn't
of
go into this blind and then find out, oh my God, I got caught in a group of bad people. What can I do? He willingly walked into the room with those bad people so we can always question who he is as a human being. Just flat out. And I don't know him and don't profess to know him, right? I don't think he was a successful artist because he only had like what 3-4 hits, and then we ain't heard from him since what 1980 or two. See, look, Sheila might. I'm not a rapping kind of gal,
and it was a
but
duo. It wasn't, you know what I'm saying? But that's neither here nor there. The bigger concerns that I have with him, like I said, it's not about him personally. It's about the fact that we had 5 other seasoned people running, and out of all of those people, he was probably the least qualified. You understand what I'm saying? Politically only, not
Yeah,
anything else. But just
he was the
politically.
least qualified, but most popular.
Yeah, but
damn,
I don't know about that. Because a lot of people didn't know him again. You gotta understand those 2 songs he did was back when I was young. Like my son ain't know who he was. Like my son is 30. Like no, like they don't know him. You know, they don't know him. So again, we're talking about a candidate because I want to keep it on the candidate because, like I said, I want to show him the utmost
right.
respect. Just as a candidate, you haven't voted for 25 years. These are the
Jesus.
facts. These are the facts. You didn't even pay taxes for the last 15 years. These are not elements of character that we look for in leadership in a community. You understand what I'm saying? And a lot of the accolades that he got were manufactured to make him look a certain way. Now I can say that he does have a nonprofit. I can say that I can call a couple of things that has been done over the couple of years. But again, when you take the candidate and you put it next to a lawyer, when you take this candidate and you put it next to somebody, women who have backgrounds, not one but two, in policing, right? And in our community. So they know the demographic. They know that side of things. That's a very big issue to deal with here. Even with Lyndon Brown. Lyndon Brown is fully entrenched, even from with his mom, like generations now, that these people know the community. They know where the need is. So you have all of these people who know the issues, and you have somebody who doesn't know. And the bigger issue is this is probably not just happening in Newark. This is probably
That's
happening in
right.
Chicago, Detroit,
That's
Trenton.
right.
It's happening all over the country.
Right. They
That's
don't
right.
want people. They don't want people who could really make significant change. They want people to maintain the status quo. That's what I think about that. So.
That's
Because,
real.
and you're right. That's exactly what they want. They need puppets to do their bidding.
But why
Mm-hmm.
why are we for that? For example, now I want to get off to the point. I wanted to see what you guys think about this. Women always in politics always talk about this proverbial glass ceiling, but like it was the women. There were no men organizing in this election that I know of. Now, you can correct me if I'm wrong. It was totally women, and women who were significant figures in our community. These women only supported and invited the current administration and their staff to their events. And not only that, even in debates for the West Ward, what is her name? Frederica Bay gave a
Mm.
wonderful debate where she actually had the names of the women, Levita Johnson and Michelle, what's Michelle Middleton, and didn't invite them. So people who came to the debate would have said, "Wow, well they were supposed to be here. Well, wow, well where are they at?" I literally called those women on the cell phone and said, "It's a debate. Get here," and they were there like as fast as they could possibly be. But that wasn't the case with the men. When I walked in, all the men were there. So we have to address what is it that makes women, because again, they got to be talked about a little bit from you guys. It's 80% of the vote. You got to remember, a lot of our men are coming home. A lot of them can't vote. A lot of them can't vote and don't know they can. And they just don't know, and they're not participatory. But women make up 80% of the vote. So when we hear something like, well, they think that Raz is handsome, yeah, Raz looks better than me to a
Huh?
woman. Raz looks better than a woman to a woman. Like they're not gonna look at me and be like, oh, she was like that. No, they're gonna look at a man and be like, oh, he's handsome. Oh, he's this. He's that. Oh, I'm not voting for a woman. So again, we can't keep saying it's the men holding us down. Like, just to this point right here, because this is a huge thing. I heard Michelle Obama talk about it before. She
But
said,
it's not the men holding them down.
right, I agree. What are you
It's
talking
not.
That's right.
Black men don't hold our women down. That's not what we do.
Right.
We empower
That's
our
right.
women. We don't hold
That's
them
right.
down.
That's
You
right.
That's right.
understand? We don't disrespect our women like they disrespect their women. You understand? Our women aren't property. Our women are our
Nope.
partners.
That's right.
That's
You
right.
understand? When we came home from work back in the day, we gave the checkup to the wife.
That's
That's right.
right. That's
She got
right.
the check. She did what she had to do. She gave him a
That's
couple
right.
dollars. You go ahead down to the bar, go have a couple of drinks with your friends. That's what happened.
That's
You
right.
understand? Then come along feminism. Feminists. Black women should have never jumped in that shit.
Yeah, that
That
was
was
a
not
mistake.
their
What do you
fight.
think it is, Jamal? So why do you think that? I'm curious to hear from a man too, or your perspective. So why do you think women don't support women in politics?
Good question.
Outside of the fact that, I don't like her. I would never vote for her. Why not?
Mm-hmm.
I heard about her. What you hear? I heard she don't know how to talk to people. Have you spoken to her? No, but I heard. Well, until you speak to her, keep your assumptions to yourself. Go
Nothing
speak
about
to the
policy.
individual.
Nothing about policy.
Yeah,
Nothing
nothing about she not qualified. I said, what makes you think she's not qualified? She's very qualified. She knows politics. She's district leader.
That's right.
Why is she not qualified? She's an educator. Why is she not qualified?
Yeah.
You understand? And this is just my opinion. I could be wrong, but I doubt it.
Right.
You know, yeah, I agree with. And another thing too
Stockholm
is
Willie
that,
Lynch syndrome.
yeah,
Point blank.
you
That
know,
is
and
the biggest problem with majority. Stockholm Willie Lynch. Whatever I want for me, I want for the three of y'all.
That's
If,
right.
That's right.
if I can get up and go buy a brand new Cadillac, I want y'all to be able to get up and go do the same exact thing as I'm doing. Why? Because I want for you what I want for myself. You understand? I don't care if we have a disagreement or we had a falling out. I still want what's best for you. I still want you to eat and make money, just not with me.
Right.
You understand? But at the end of the day, you gotta ask women. Women have to be accountable for what they do. You understand? Listen, from my perspective, what I've seen is majority of them are too nose up in the air, and I don't need nobody. I can do it all by myself. That's just what I've seen this election.
Right.
You know, because
What do you mean, Jamal? What do you mean? They could do it by themselves.
Oh, just that attitude. That's why majority of the people that lost, that were running, they refused to work with other women. You understand? They decided at the very last minute, well, I guess we should work with women. By that time, it was too late.
Wow.
Listen, you tried to meet with each and every last candidate that was running. Every last one of them, except for RAS candidates. You ain't trying to meet with none of them.
Right. Right.
They all said no. They all said no. But at the very last minute, everybody want to kumbaya and pull together.
Yeah.
Why? Because you know it wasn't looking good for you. Pardon me. You know it wasn't looking good.
Right.
Whether they like it or not, I really don't care. But had you worked together, his whole team wouldn't have got in.
Yeah. Even from the petition process, a lot of the women that pulled out petitions ended up not making a ballot because they didn't make the deadline to hand them in. And I knew that was a huge factor, which is why I did a little campaign on social media where I tried to keep showing people, hey, look, I'm passing them in. I got 13 today. I got 28 the next day. And I was showing people, but they were, I guess, people waited to the last minute to try to get those petitions.
Let me tell you, and I said this to you personally, when they did not make the ballot, they all should have turned around and supported another candidate, but they didn't. Nobody that made the ballot decided to support the people who did. Why? Because and I'm talking about the women. They did not turn around and support the other women that were running. Now, if I'm mistaken, if I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. Let's say you're a Democratic candidate. Jody's a Democratic candidate. She gets in. Don't you turn around and support her now? Isn't that what the Democratic Party does and the Republican Party? Everybody runs, and then once you find out who you putting out there, everybody gets behind them.
Yeah.
So
that didn't happen here. Why? Because they were too busy being vain, catty, and feminist.
So you know what
it is.
Years ago, I ran against Miss Montague for advisory board, right? and I am who I am, right? I was even mean to Miss Montague, right? It was my first. It was my first run, and we both kind of like fire, and so. I was all up for that. I was good for that, and the rumors that were out, right? One was she was crazy, right? I ran that rumor. I ran that one. She crazy? I didn't even know Sheila Montague. That's the God's honest truth. I had no idea who she was, other than I would see her at advisory board meetings, right? But when somebody says she crazy, I ran with it. I pride myself, however, on I am politically savvy. I love that sport. I recognize it as the sport it is, right? I did recognize after that I like being behind the scenes much more than I like being a candidate. I like string pulling, right? But I did do my due diligence, right? That when people would say extremely derogatory things about her, I definitely as a woman wasn't going to tear one down, right? So I went, found out that's a lie. So no, I'm not saying that about that woman. And so this was easy for me. Sheila didn't reach out to me during her election. I reached out to Sheila. I saw her when I started watching her on social media, and I felt for someone who was running for mayor and starting off from scratch, I thought her social media presence was brilliant, right? I thought her messaging
It was I.
It was that was you. I thought it was Sheila saying it was I. I just right and I called her like, yo, you're running for mayor. Let's run, right? So I can't. It's hard for me because that's the woman I am, and I'm not saying everybody should be me, but everybody should when it came to this, because I didn't say that should be me. Shit. I thought it was amazingly courageous for her to do it, right? So I'm gonna rock with you, whatever I can do. So to see women, horrible. But I've watched it before. The way in which, and I really do believe it's coming from this place. Wow, look at Sheila. I wish I was as courageous as Sheila, but I'm not. So I'm a dog her out instead. I think that's one place it comes from. Like just that. Look at Sheila. Like I wish I had the cojones to do what Sheila's doing, but I don't. So I'll talk about her like trash all throughout social media. Or that it should be me, Donna Jackson. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna jump in after Sheila's knee deep in it. I'm going to jump in and now I'm going to pull out some petitions. I can't get 10 people to come to a corner, but I'm going to get these 10 petitions, 10, and I'm going to run for that and tear Sheila down. But it is the reason why there is still, and this is really crazy, right? That there are still, out of the 400 in the House of Representatives, only 100 maybe are women, and most of them are not of color. We black women know how to tear our behinds up. We black women have actually mastered how to tear a sister down and think of a pot-belly mayor as being better looking than Sheila Montague.
Oh.
We don't even talk about that when we talk about men. When you talk about men, politicians, Raz and his diluted stomach for the first 2 runs he had, no one ever said anything about that. But we talking about whether Sheila Montague is good looking enough. We don't talk about men's penises, but they on social media talking about her behind. Are you kidding me?
I got so many
participating in that behavior. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
That's why it's hard for a black woman to run a city, to run a business, to run a country, because we have totally mastered that. And it's all about our idiosyncrasies, right? And our shortcomings. But if we don't talk about this ever again, I get to say it to your face, right? Yo, you will always be Miss Sheila the mayor to me, right? I feel like the city needed you, don't know how much it needed you, don't know what it lost in not choosing you, and they will eat that, right? They'll still be standing on corners with 5 people screaming at the mayor, taking a check on the back end, but you have something that is so much more important in this world. It's called you got you. You still own you. Days after, that's your voice. Can't nobody give it to you, and ain't nobody gonna take it away, right? You'll be back again. You say what you want to say, but you'll be back at it again, because that's that fire in your belly to save people, to help people, to see something come to fruition that is your people in progress. You'll be back again, and we'll be stronger, we'll be better, we'll be ready, and now we know just what it is. This was that practice run, but you'll be back, and hopefully by then, right, those women will understand how much they lose every time, not against men, right? Because I'm a woman who believes like Jamal did in that old day kind of love, that old day kind of man and woman, right? That I believe we should follow men innately, right? But that doesn't mean we can't lead to in another space outside of a home, right? And it's necessary. It's necessary. So, I feel bad for women who do that, right? Who feel like that's necessary to do, who don't have, pullback, like, wait, I'm going too far. I'm saying things that I don't even know are factual, but I'm going to just throw it on this woman's behind and make her eat that, I think is so tragic. And I pray that women will do better. Black women in general. Munira Bamani just said African womanist. And we got to find a genre of us who are not that. Right? And I think I like African womanist. That's what I am from now on.
And so listen, so with that being said, I just want to say, Jody, just thank you so much for that. That really means a lot. And I'm going to be honest, it takes a lot of courage, right? To just say as a woman, I was guilty of that, right? It takes a lot of courage to do that. And you've always been upfront to share that with me. And thank you for sharing that publicly. I see that after the election, some of the women who were talking about me really bad, they're trying to give me messages, trying to click like on some of my posts and stuff like that. So, we have a lot of growing to do, right? And we are going to get there together.
Yes.
But with that being said, I want to
Yep.
make that a segue to start the trajectory to end the show. I want to hear your thoughts because, again, we're going to have to come back and do this show. It's going to definitely have to be a part 2 because in talking about the issues, right, we bring awareness. Yeah, we bring awareness to them, but then it's always that part, okay, like what do we do next? Like how do we really resuscitate democracy? And so with that being said, I'm going to let you guys get the last word. And I hear the music playing, so you gotta try to keep it short as you can. But what do we do to resuscitate democracy? And we'll just start with anyone.
Well, yeah. The resuscitate democracy is going to come from us constituting our own code as a community, coming together collectively, learning and practicing economics with one another, like Brother Jamal said, and revitalizing our community by building up our community. I'm like him. I don't believe in the political base is going to help us. We're going to have to help ourselves. We're going to have our own constitution amongst each other and make sure that we enforce the code, but show unity and love and the collectiveness. And one of the main keys is black women, restructuring and reestablishing their sisterhood. You know what I'm saying? When you come together and reestablish that sisterhood, the sky's the limit. Then everything will start falling in place. You'll start seeing solidarity amongst us as a people. So peace and power to all of us, and thank you for having me on your show.
Thank you, Brother Rod. Thank you so much.
Right.
Jamal.
You know what I'm gonna say? Build our own. That's it.
That's right.
Build our own. I've been telling people, listen, all you gotta do is donate $1 a week. That's it. $52 a year. And we build our own banks, our own schools, hospitals, supermarkets.
Absolutely.
Right. Trying to dismantle the system. You're not going to be able to do that because the black folk that are there are going to toe the line. You understand?
Right.
And the ones that aren't towing the line, they aren't heard and don't get the recognition as they should.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Jamal.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Good stuff. And Jamal, just plug in really quick the boycott.
Oh yeah, from June 30th to July 3rd, we're boycotting all gas stations in America. I mean, because you have to figure, these gas prices are astronomical right now. People are literally making life decisions at the pump.
That's
Do I put gas in the car or do I get something to eat?
Yeah.
So
that's right.
We got to get these prices to drop. And right now, gas should only be 99 cents a gallon at the station. Yeah. That's what the price should be. They're price gouging. They're doing it because they know they can, and no one isn't trying to stop them. So it's up to the people to stop.
Power to the people.
Right.
That's right.
Peace and power to the people.
Jody, bring us home.
I think that democracy is done, right? I think that resuscitation of democracy, I do believe it's impossible. I believe what Jamal said, that that the black elite that's in there now will stop any tear down of the system. But does the system need tearing down? Absolutely, it does. So I'm very bleak on democracy. But I do believe that when women start being voted into office, we'll see change. I think that that's all the way from local government to the presidency. I think that is the imbalance in democracy, is that it is being run fully by old white men, and women haven't had a chance to be in there. And that's my word for the day.
Well, listen,
I love this show.
Peace and power.
We're gonna come back again because, like I said, there's so many other issues to hit on. But thank you each for each of your contributions this evening, and thank you to listening audience. And if you enjoyed this episode of W.A.G.E, please hit the button for subscribe, and you should get a notification every time the show airs. Thank you again, and good night to everyone.
Good night.
Good night.